No one got our trivia question a few weeks ago on this show. I've never watched it, but I asked which local council person had a A-list actor. And it was Jackie Clarkson's daughter, Patricia Clarkson. Then I was like, which former local council person had sort of a B actor? New Orleans, Jay Batt, the former councilman's brother, was in Mad Men for a while. I think they killed his character off after a few years. I don't know if you watched any Deadwood in your life. You like Deadwood? How good is that, Corporal?
Oh, Deadwood's a great show.
Isn't Deadwood incredible? I can't believe they canceled it after 3 seasons. That thing should be running like 8 seasons. It was fantastic.
I don't understand how you don't just like keep a show like that going. It was
incredible.
Great.
So the
it
script
had a good following.
It had a great following. It was absolutely incredible. They had like lots of replays of that over the weekend, and then they had the movie. It's just so well written, so accurate in detail to the times. Just really fantastic stuff. I love Deadwood. Anyway, if you have a chance to check that out, I highly recommend it, even though it's like 10 years old now. They had 3 seasons of it, and then they had a movie. I recommend watching all 3 seasons and then the movie. Just absolutely incredible characters. Fletcher joins us on Fridays. Channel 6 is owned by Hearst Media. William Hearst was the newspaper owner in Deadwood, South Dakota. He got his start there and all that. And supposedly one of his buddies killed off a rival that wouldn't sell some of the land that they were mining on, and all that was in that. A little Hollywood liberty taken, a little exaggeration and embellishment. But boy, is that a fantastic show. I don't know why they got rid of that Lakers show. That was incredible. The Showtime, the Lakers thing with Magic and Bird, and the Jerry West character was friggin' awesome. They did 2 seasons of that, and then ratings went down and they got rid of it. City on a Hill with Kevin Bacon, the show about the Boston cops. I think that was on Showtime. They canceled that after a couple of seasons. I mean, I understand ratings and advertising and all that, but sometimes when a program is quality and it's just so well done, maybe you bite the bullet a little on that. I remember network television. This is decades ago. They had a place called Frank's Place. The old WKRP in Cincinnati DJ Venus Flytrap, I forget his acting name. He was in Frank's Place. And it was about a New Orleans restaurant. And it was really well done. And it got critically acclaimed. It was critically acclaimed. And because the ratings weren't there, they ended up canceling it. I mean, I guess it all goes hand in hand. If you don't have ratings, you're not going to have viewers. If you don't have viewers, you're not going to have advertisers, blah, 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 blah. Cable's a little different, though. You pay for the service. Obviously, they want viewers still, or less people will pay for the service if they're not putting quality programming out. But I think sometimes you got to have a little integrity and be like, this is quality. This is as good as it gets. And sorry that people aren't catching on to City on a Hill or the Lakers thing or Deadwood, but we're going to keep going with this for a few more seasons. Anyway, boy, I don't analyze things that I do, but I guess television and movies are like a great escape for me, where you can kind of, fade right into that. I'll tell you what, I think like a lot of people, we connect with the actors and the characters in the show. And when they die in the show, we're sad. When the show is canceled or it's the season or the series finale, it sort of hurts. It's painful. I'm fired up because I don't know when. Why don't you Google this for me, Corporal? When is season 4 of Godfather of Harlem starting? Have you watched any of that? My cousin Bumpy Johnson is the star. All right, Bumpy Johnson was a black guy in Harlem in the 50s and 60s, a drug dealer and kind of community activist all in one. Friends with Malcolm X, season 4 of Godfather of Harlem. When's that coming on?
They haven't released an official date yet, but they're saying as of a week ago, it's expected like right at the end of 2024 or early 2025.
That sounds good. I'll wait. Forrest Whitaker in that as Bumpy Johnson is, if he doesn't win some awards, then they might as well get rid of the awards. And that's another show that is so incredibly well scripted. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Mississippi Burning. It's about the 3 activists who came from New York. Schwarner, the 2 Jewish kids and the black kid. They went to register voters in Mississippi and they were murdered by the KKK and the sheriff. And the feds came down because they just disappeared. The feds come down to outside of Philadelphia, Mississippi for like 3 or 4 months. They're getting nowhere because these goofy redneck racist KKK and police sheriffs in this county, even though they're as dumb as dirt, they were cohesive and tight. They knew not to say anything, and there was no way they were going to get busted, So for like 3-4 months, the feds knew these crooked sheriffs and KKK people were involved, could not prove anything. So they literally, in Mississippi Burning, Gene Hackman tells Willem Dafoe's character, I'm going to bring in a specialist. Mississippi Burning's from like the early 90s, Corporal. So they bring in this black FBI guy from up north. He kidnaps the mayor of the town, brings him out to this shed, and basically has him tied up, pulls out like a razor and says, I'm going to cut part of your body off unless you tell me where those kids are. I know you know where they are, Mayor. And the mayor, obviously, the next scene is Gene Hackman putting the guy on a plane, the black guy, the FBI guy from up north, and thanking him. And he's like that. And he flies off. And Hackman's got one of those little spiral notepads. And he's telling Defoe, I got all the info. We got everything. So they knew back in the 90s, like they brought in the black specialist, the FBI, like they didn't know all the facts. About a decade later, they knew all the facts. Maybe 15 years later. If you Google it, it's like right around Katrina-ish, 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, the real story came out. The feds, after 3 or 4 months in Philadelphia, Mississippi, contacted the New York Mafia, Bumpy Johnson, who was tight with the mob, working, and the mob. They got together and basically were like, hey, mob, any interest in going down to explain the situation? We're trying to find these 3 kids that were murdered. The mob, first off, is pro-America. They love America, the American dream. You can make it here. Second, they're Catholic. The KKK hates Catholics like Jews and blacks. I don't know why, but the KKK is insane. I mean, do I even need to say that? So they literally send a mob guy down to Philadelphia, Mississippi. The mob guy captures like a sheriff deputy or a KKK guy and tortures him until he tells them the information where the 3 bodies are found. So for 4 months, the feds are getting nowhere. They literally work a deal with the mafia. The mafia is like, hell yeah, we hate the KKK. They're anti-American. They're anti-Catholic. When do we go? They loved helping the feds on this one. So the mob goes down, kidnaps a KKK guy and a sheriff, tortures them until they tell them where the kids are, because the feds can't torture them, but the feds knew the mob knows how to get information out of people, and kind of looking the other way like, wink, wink, oh, he didn't do this. The very next day, they pull the 3 kids out of this earthen dam where they were buried. So the mob helped the feds break the story, find out from the KKK, these racist sheriffs, where the 3 kids were buried, just like that. Just an amazing story. And Mississippi Burning kind of had it like sort of, they had a feel for it, but didn't know the facts. About a decade, 15 years later, all the facts came out. And you can Google that. Did the mafia help find the 3, activists that were killed in the 60s in Mississippi? And it'll tell you the whole story. It's just, I mean, I'm not into torture or the mob or any of that, but I love the feds doing that because it's the KKK and these racist sheriffs. The hell with them. The mob's above them. The mob's above them in my book.
for that situation, heck
Hell yeah.
Throw 'em up.
I
Let's
love
go.
it. Good job, feds. You know, I mean, if you got to put the mob are criminal, there's no doubt. I'm not trying to praise the mafia. They're criminals. But the KKK racist sheriffs, they're worse. They're worse.
At least the crooks in that sense are doing some good.
Exactly.
Never done anything
Never
good.
done any good for anybody but themselves. Bunch of goofy redneck racist sheriffs. The hell with them. And the KKK people, the hell with them. I love the mob on that one. True story. Check it out. Corey Johnson, Wide Open Wednesday. Yeah, you right. Coming right back with a real show.
The Woodhouse Day Spa with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
Got carried away watching YouTube videos with the corporal. Forrest Whitaker's incredible in this movie. Is that scene unbelievable or what? How can you not love that scene?
That's wild.
Isn't that a great scene?
I
love it.
Killing
in front of the daughter, he does that stupid cop, and then, yeah, okay, cop, you're going to pay for that. And then I just love the, when the, basically, I'll describe the scene to you. Bumpy Johnson's on the street with his little daughter. This white racist cop starts busting his chops and is being, frightening the little girl. Asks the girl her name. She says her name. He says, that's a white girl's name, all this crap. Frisks Bumpy Johnson. He has like a razor. And then the cop's like, that's like 3 to 5. I'm going to let you go this time, but I want $3,000. So Bumpy Johnson shows up at the precinct with this envelope stuffed with newspaper. And it looks like an envelope of cash. And the cop's like, thanks. And then he opens up the flap to look at the money. And it says, call home. So when he calls home, there's just this black guy with just this big fro. And he's just, a black guy. And then the lily white mom and kids, little Junior and Sally, are taped up and tied up on the sofa. And the black guy on the phone, who's like dark black with a big old fro, big part in the fro, just like the biggest nightmare for some racist white family. He's like, hey, how you doing, Chief? No, it's called like an eye for an eye. It's just like a powerful scene. It's just like, I wouldn't mess with Bumpy Johnson, dopey, stupid white cop.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, lesson learned. Exactly. I love it. Anyway, that's the kind of crap I watch, and I'm like giddy, so I feel pretty good about how I think about things. Like, even though Bumpy Johnson's like a criminal, the white racist cop's worse. So I'm on Bumpy Johnson's side because I don't, there's one luxury I have. There's a station down the dial, WBOK. It's like the black AM station. Everything is about race. If it's black, it's all good. If it's white, it's all bad. I don't give a crap. If it's good, it's good. And I don't care if it's black, white, gay, straight, or whatever. And if it's bad, it's bad. And I don't care if it's black, white, gay, or straight. It's a beautiful thing being freed from like racism, homophobia, sexism, any of that. I don't know. I grew up at the right time. I had great parents and brothers and sisters and grandparents where I never heard the N-bomb out of anybody's mouth. No derogatory slurs toward Jews, Italians, Irish, none of that. Nothing about women are inferior, gay people are inferior. The opposite. The opposite. Treat people with respect and all that kind of stuff. So I don't represent white. So to think like I'm for the white cop would be insane. The white cop's a piece of crap. I'm for Bumpy Johnson. He's black. It doesn't matter. If it were reversed and the cop was black and the Bumpy Johnson was white, I'd be for Bumpy Johnson and against the black cop. It doesn't matter. The skin color, the ethnicity, male or female, gay or straight, does not matter to me one bit. I just like quality people. It's pretty nice to not have that anvil, sack of bricks, piano, on your back. It's a blessing. I honestly, people don't know better. If they're racist or homophobic or, against women or something like that, they just embrace that crap and run with it. I guess they live their life. But to me, life's got enough roadblocks and potholes and things you have to overcome that are real, that are beyond your control. Why would I embrace racism, sexism, homophobia, any of that when it's within my control? So no, I'm blessed. I've always been that way, born that way, raised by good parents. Thank God. Because I know people that are the other way, black and white, gay and straight. No, not gay really, but straight, that are homophobic or think women are inferior or a lesser thing or something, or women should be in this place. That's just a big waste of time. Thank goodness. Hey, the Rouse's Markets phone lines are open, 766-9480. 766-9480. The corporal's at the controls. Salute him when you call. He can see through the phone. 766-9480. Governor Landry wants any LSU football scholarship player to lose that scholarship if they don't stand for the national anthem. The problem is, the LSU football team isn't out on the field when the national anthem is going on. So I guess he'd have to go in the locker room during the pregame speech to see if the players are standing when the anthem's going on that they can't even hear. Now, this is just another crock of you-know-what from Governor Jeff Landry. And if he follows through on his promise to come on this show, and I've been working it with Kate, his media relations person, I'll ask him about this. But his base eats this up. He's just about the national anthem. He's pro-America. What's the problem? Well, the problem is Brian Kelly says in his 33 years of coaching, he can count on one hand how many times his team has been out during the national anthem. Kim Mulkey had the same response because Kim Mulkey's team wasn't out on the court for the national anthem. Hell, LSU football played Army last year. You remember they did that super cool deal and put one end zone in camouflage, like a little prop, sending a little, thank you guys to Army. They painted one end zone. It was camouflage. It still said LSU, but it was great. It was a tribute to Army, the team coming into play. Army wasn't on the field for the national anthem. Need I say more? Army wasn't on the field for the national anthem. 33 years of coaching for Brian Kelly. You can count on one hand how many times the team has been out on the field for the national anthem. Here's the deal. The national anthem is for the fans in the stands. If the teams are out there, they're going to stand as well. But they're not. It's pregame, and they're not. Kim Mulkey's team won't be out there. Brian Kelly's team won't be out there. Most college football and basketball teams all around the country, including Army, not on the field during the national anthem. Crazy. Hey, Ed Michel, Inspector General, City of New Orleans, is going to join us in about 1 minute. Ed Michel, Office of Inspector General, joining us on the neutral ground in about 60 seconds. I just wanted to throw out that Kelly story because, Kelly says LSU will not change its pregame routine. They're not coming out on the field for the national anthem. Is Brian Kelly anti-America? Is Brian Kelly liberal? Or just insane? No, that they're never on the field for the national anthem. This is just a BS story. And the governor is the one who's mistaken. The governor should back down on this silly demand. By the way, Tiger Stadium, 100 years old this year, and arguably the best football schedule. One could argue not only in LSU football history, college football history. LSU opens up this Sunday against USC. Later this month, UCLA is at Tiger Stadium. In October, it's fifth-ranked Ole Miss. Alabama, sixth-ranked in November. The end of the year, they play Oklahoma at Tiger Stadium. USC in Vegas, UCLA, Alabama, Oklahoma, all at Tiger Stadium. What a great way to celebrate 100 years. Do we have the IG on the program? The IG's ready? Oh, yeah. Can you holler at him? Sorry about that, Corporal. I thought you had him up there. Ed Michel's going to join us in a second. The mayor, the city, saying the feds will pay 50% of that Sewage and Water Board power plant upgrade. It's $29 million. They'll come up with $14.5 million if the city and the state match it, and they come up with $14.5 million. That's a no-brainer, huh? Speaking of the Sewage and Water Board, a water main rupturing, some mid-city folks without water. Yesterday it was New Orleans East, now it's mid-city. If that's not enough, saltwater intrusion, Plaquemine Parish, low water pressure because salt water coming up the Mississippi River. The Inspector General, City of New Orleans, Ed Michel, joins us on the program. Ed, always a pleasure. Thanks for what you do, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, Corey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Boy, you grind, man. I know when you took this gig, you knew it was going to be challenging. Did you think it was going to be this challenging? You and your staff just work, and work. Coupled with, you took over a broken office. Bob Sarasoli set it up right. Ed Cotreveau, as Jim Finks would say, was a little long in the tooth, maybe. But boy, Do Nothing Dairy Harper was a nightmare. He imploded that office. So you had to kind of start from scratch and rebuild it, coupled with it's a really tough job, huh?
Well, mitigating fraud, waste, and abuse and corruption in the city of New Orleans definitely has its challenges, but I am very proud of the team that we have built here. We have a very successful team of auditors, evaluators, investigators, and IT personnel. And talking about our successes, we've had so much productivity year over year. Last year was another 500% increase in productivity. Last year, we drafted 17 reports and identified and or recovered about $4.5 million. This year, we're on track to surpass that. And as of this week, we have identified in potential economic loss to the city about $20,566,000.
Wow. No, I remember when Bob Sarasoli, just the first few years, not only did what he did pay for the office, it pays for the office indefinitely. You're just adding more to that. I mean, we're talking tens of millions of dollars annually, indefinitely, because of the IG. Jefferson Parish has an IG. They don't really do anything. It's mind-boggling. St. Tammany doesn't have one with all the public money being spent up there. Ed, I'm going to knock out a quick break. We're going to come right back and talk about a bunch of things you've been doing lately. Ed Michel's with us from the Office of Inspector General.
Gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience. Right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today, and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Thanks for joining us. Wide Open Wednesday edition of the program. Inspector General, City of New Orleans, Ed Michel joins us. Hey, Ed, before we jump into it, remind folks that maybe you're unaware what an Office of Inspector General is all about. I tell people it's like a CPA scrutinizing how taxpayer money is being spent. And the real goal is to make sure it's being spent efficiently for us. But then sometimes that leads to corruption or even criminal behavior, right?
Sure. So our job is to mitigate fraud, waste, and abuse, as well as corruption where and when we see it. And we do so through a framework where we look at compliance risk, financial risk, operational risk, as well as reputational risk through three separate and distinct entities that combine their resources effectively. And those are the audit, the evaluation, and the investigations divisions, respectively.
Hey, Ed, tell us about the latest and greatest, this pilot acronym, and what y'all's investigation was all about.
Sure. So we recently reviewed the Industrial Development Board, also known as the IDB, and we found that they had a lack of formal and transparent policies and procedures when the city actually awarded tax breaks to developers. So the IDB is responsible for administering the pilots, and pilot is also known as payments in lieu of taxes. And it's a type of economic tax incentive that's used to encourage private development projects with the design to stimulate economic growth in the city. During the course of a pilot agreement, developers pay only a percentage of the taxes that would ordinarily be due on the subject properties. And so this report is critical because it details our future economic development. Since 1973, and a lot of folks don't know this, but the city has awarded about 120 pilots, which over the years has resulted in about $1.7 billion in economic development.
And right, real quick, Ed, I don't mean to interrupt you. That sounds great. You're giving companies tax breaks as an incentive to come into the city and employ people. And the end result is supposed to be a net positive, more money coming in than the tax breaks you give. It's really supposed to be long-term and high-paying jobs, right? And you found out it was more short-term and low-paying jobs?
That's correct. So over the years, there have been concerns exactly about that, whether the pilot agreements actually benefited the city, and more importantly, if the IDB strategically selected these projects that align with the city's economic goals. And one of those main goals is to create high-paying, long-term jobs for our citizens. For instance, in 2017, a report determined that the pilots created about 175 jobs per project. That's great job growth. However, when you look at those 175 jobs, the average salary of those jobs was about $36,000 a year. And, $36,000 a year certainly doesn't fall within the category of long-term, high-paying jobs.
That's lower than a family of four, medium income in New Orleans right now. I think it's around 40-something grand. So that's even less than, the average.
Yes, and pilots in some cases may also have a negative impact by giving businesses an unfair business advantage over their competitors. They can also erode the tax base or transfer the tax burden to other taxpayers if the development increases the local government's operating expenses as well. So upon review, we concluded that the IDB did not have well-defined written policies and procedures for approving the pilot projects in the first place. And we also determined that the program could have additional standardized criteria, which they need to objectively assess projects simply besides the cost-benefit analysis as well as the but-for cost. And, again, additional measures could reduce the potential for fraud, waste, as well as abuse.
Ed Michel's with us, Inspector General, City of New Orleans. Any final thoughts on pilot before we move on?
Well, we recommended that they set clear programmatic goals, again, that align with the city's priorities for economic developments. And those transparent policies and procedures, I think at the end of the day, are going to ensure that the city uses its limited resources in the most impactful way, and that is to help the city meet our economic development priorities and goals for the future.
That's another thing about the Office of Inspector General. You don't just audit, investigate, inspect, and point at problems. You guys offer solutions too, right?
We offer step-by-step increases and visuals to actually help these entities identify not only the risk that they're facing, but preventative measures to ensure that they are operating in an efficient and effective manner.
Ed, it's always great to do these things you do. Sometimes they deliver shocking results in a bad way. Sometimes it's criminal activity. Sometimes things you find out they're pretty well run. The New Orleans East Hospital, you guys did some work with those guys, and not really much to be seen there. It seems like they kind of have it together somewhat, right?
Yeah, so this was one of those I like to call a good report, and happy to produce and very encouraging to find out that they are operating in a respectable, efficient, and effective manner. The New Orleans East Public Hospital is a hospital that provides essential services to the residents of New Orleans. And, we had several positive findings in this report. The New Orleans East Hospital credit card purchases were business related and allowable per policy as well as state law. And their selected credit card purchases were supported by an itemized receipt as well as documentation, of the business purpose. We had a couple of minor findings. In a couple of instances, they did not receive prior approval to the issuance and the use of the credit card for a percentage of their transactions, but that total was very low. It's about $15,000 from the grand scheme of things. The New Orleans East Hospital are following the standard protocols and procedures for the expenditures of city funds.
Can't say the same thing for the city's HVAC system, heating and cooling. I mean, my goodness. We're a hot city. You got to have air conditioning working right. Fill us in on the city's HVAC systems. No policies, no standard operating system, not maintaining the physical AC and heating systems. Kind of a patchwork, wing it, fly by the seat of their pants type of situation, right?
Yeah. So the purpose of that report was to discuss, the assessment of our maintenance, repairs, and policies, regarding heating and ventilation systems in city buildings. The summer of 2023 was just an especially warm season.
Yep.
And
drought.
As part of the 2024 hazard mitigation planning, the New Orleans Office of Homeland Security noted that there were about 21 excessive heat days between July 16th and August 27th. So during the same time period, we had numerous HVAC system failures. And unfortunately, some of these failures were at very public locations, such as police stations, libraries, and fire stations, as well as the Orleans Parish Civil and Criminal District Court.
Wow.
So the emergency services sector employees that provide us these essential services, they must have an environment that they can work in, and operating in a building without proper AC during the summer is just not conducive to efficient or safe operations. What were your recommendations for those guys? Well, due to the system-wide failures and the lack of coordination across the board, we determined that they should actually have written policies and standard operating procedures to ensure that the HVAC systems are well maintained and that they continue to operate properly. Some of the instances that they did not keep records for instance, when they put HVAC systems in, ranged from 1 year to 20 years. So it's important as we install these HVAC systems that they're maintained properly, because as you know, it gets very hot here in the summers, and we have critical locations. While some of the engineers recorded their inspections and maintenance activities in handwritten daily logs, there were no checklists, manuals, guides, or other materials setting out, the department-wide inspections protocols and expectations. And they also had lack of standard procedures and documentation, which, presented a barrier to verifying that maintenance had been completed in the first place. And with the exception of the handwritten logs, they also lacked documentation about the equipment that the engineers maintained. Only one plant had regularly posted the maintenance sheets attached to the individual pieces of equipment, while additional site began posting maintenance sheets only after we started assessing their HVAC maintenance procedures in the first place. Any final thoughts on that before we move on? Well, it's critical that they actually come up with a system to ensure the integrity, because there's several key city locations like City Hall and Gary Hall. It gets hot here, Corey. We have to have proper AC, and so we're happy that they're moving forward with the protocols and procedures that we recommended. And again, when we make these recommendations, we do so with the intent to make sure that these transparent policies and procedures are going to reduce opportunities for fraud, waste, and abuse. And that's exactly what these will do if they follow to our standards and guidelines. We're visiting with Inspector General Ed Michel. We're going to come right back. Sewage and Water Board overbilling, future reports. Don't move, New Orleans.
Not much, but at Helm Paint, we have something guaranteed to last a lifetime. Benjamin Moore's Regal Select. This paint and primer in one offers cutting-edge waterborne technology, smooth application, and long durability. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, your New Orleans paint store.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe. Japan and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frame. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Ooh, Lord Oppenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Lord Oppenheimer, that's French for bread.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. Of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now, newest location in Mandeville, the Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning. Walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Ed Michel's with us, Inspector General, City of New Orleans. Sewage and Water Board overbilling. It seems endless, Ed.
Yeah, so in April of 2024, we received a complaint from a Sewage and Water Board customer regarding the accuracy of the sewer volume charge on their monthly bill. The customer reported that their sewer volume charge was applied at a rate of 100% of their metered water consumption, which is contrary to the 85% rate that is specified by the Sewage and Water Board. Their billing policy is that they calculate the sewer volume water charge, and their policy is that all residential and public class housing volume charges are applied to the 85% of the metered consumption, which basically, Corey, allows for about 15% of the water use for lawn watering and other uses, which contribute no flow to the sanitary sewer. So we obtained a list of about 130,000 residential customer accounts for the month of March, and those 130,000 accounts totaled about $15,781,000.
Wow!
And so we attempted to look at the accuracy of the billing for the residential customers, and so we randomly selected a sample of several bills from the March 2024 listing. And the total of these was about $12,148 in fees. We found from that sampling that about 3.2% of the customer accounts tested were billed at about 100% rate of the metered consumption instead of the standard 85%. So collectively, these accounts were overbilled about $61 per account.
Wow.
And if you look at that $61 amount per account
times 130,000.
So the total overbilling for March alone came up to about $79,000, and when you calculate it out for the year, it's about $949,000 over a 12-month period. Of course, we would prefer to mitigate fraud, waste, and abuse through education and awareness. That's why we initiated a rather expedient method to review and conduct a short report because we didn't want to allow this waste and fraud to continue. So we conducted an immediate finding and relayed that information to the Sewage and Water Board, who agreed with our findings. And they advised us that the bills were likely due to a discrepancy in their system, and they are in the process of
smart meters,
that overbilling to all of the customers impacted during those months.
Now, what was the last thing they're doing? What with the? They're going to correct it. You said
the Sewage and Water Board has agreed to refund those customers the full amount of the overbilling.
And as far as a solution, I'm guessing they're telling you, "Hey, we're implementing smart meters. It'll be solved in a few years."
Well, smart meters, and along with a more robust billing software accountability program, will, I think, go a long way towards ensuring that this overbilling and these miscalculations do not continue to occur in the future. Before we go, I wanted to just mention two quick projects that we have, if we have time.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the 2025 annual work plan. Is that one of the things you were going to discuss?
Yeah. So, our work plan is required by statute and ordinance, and the city has limited resources, and so we got to be good stewards with the limited resources we have.
Yep.
And like I said before, we're mitigating fraud, waste, and abuse at just unprecedented levels. Last year, we identified and/or recovered about $4.2 million. This year, we're up to $20 million already, and it's only August.
Paying for the office for years.
Yeah, the work we do really does save taxpayer money, and the work we do has such a positive impact on the critical services. Two of the projects that I'd like to talk about is one of the one we have underway now, and people can view this on our monthly report on our website at www.nolaoig.gov. We're in the middle of conducting a review on the Orleans Parish Communications District Hexagon project.
That's the software deal?
Yes, several millions of dollars were spent on software that turned out to be ineffective. And not only were these resources squandered, but vital EMS personnel were not provided the tools they need to keep us and our citizens safe.
This Hexagon software, it's for police and fire, right?
That's correct.
Wow.
Yeah, and that report is coming out soon. I think your listeners are going to be very interested in our findings there. And then we also are doing a report on safety and permits, third-party inspections. We conducted an audit of the safety and permits, focusing on the building inspectors performed by third-party inspectors. Over the years, through our investigations, and as a result of our investigations, 19 people have either been indicted, terminated, resigned, or under investigation resigned. And we've had several high-profile convictions of individuals linked to safety and permits, such as Randy Farrell, James Mohammed, Brian Meadis, and Kevin Richardson. Improperly performed inspections could lead to just catastrophic and deadly situations, such as the Hard Rock collapse in 2019. And
wow.
it is really imperative that third-party inspectors perform their inspections in accordance with safety and permit policies and procedures. The work that they perform is essential to daily functioning, and the work that is done on behalf of the citizens by the city. Unfortunately, the issues over there have proven to be relentless and systemic. And so with that in mind, I want your listeners to know that we are going to be weeding out individual bad actors. More than just approaching fraud, waste, and abuse, we're going to be taking some unprecedented steps in the future.
And also that sheriff office payroll processing audit. Ed, Michel, always a pleasure. NOLAOIG.gov, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It's NOLAOIG.gov, and they can, if anyone is aware of fraud, waste, and abuse, they can contact us directly.
That sounds great. Ed, thank you so much. NOLAOIG.gov, or call them directly if you notice something going down that ain't right. Thanks so much, Ed. Stick around. 5 o'clock powwow next.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at La Barre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us steer you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
New Orleans, with precision engineered prescription frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see. What about in the world? Who sells than food? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the ship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission: to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
Drew Brees sometime soon, please. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. Thanks so much for joining us. When I beeline out of here, I will head to Jay's Smoothie King. Jay and his dad own a couple of Smoothie Kings, and they both just happen to be kind of near where I live, especially the one on Jefferson Highway right across the street from Oshner. You know, I'm right by the Sewage and Water Board, right by Carrollton, River Bend, Holly Grove, Pigeon Town, right by where Claiborne's hits Jefferson Highway, right by the Lowe's Salvation Army store, the end of Oak Street, right there in that part of town. So for me, just coming off, go to Claiborne and then go to Jefferson Highway, or go Oak Street to River Road. I'm trying to think the street. Harding is what you turn off of River Road. Harding will take you right to Jefferson Highway and that little strip mall where that Smoothie King's located. Now, Jay and his dad have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades, and they've just got a great staff that care, that know what's going on. I walk in, they're like, hey, Corey, I don't even have to tell them what I want anymore. They know what I want. I started out, Angel Food is a great smoothie. It's kind of like a snack, though. It's got turbinado, which is unrefined sugar, the brown sugar. And it's got like non-dairy milk and stuff. It's like a treat. It's like a dessert. You want to enjoy like a reward smoothie, go get an Angel Food. But I wanted some protein and a little creatine in my smoothie. So I was adding that to the Angel Food. And then the staff's like, Corey, get a vanilla Gladiator. You can get strawberry, chocolate. Gladiator is Smoothie King sort of proprietary whey protein. So I was getting the vanilla Gladiator, and then you pick what, fruits you want in there. And I get bananas and strawberries. They spoon 2 scoops of strawberries, and they ask you sweetened or unsweetened. I got rid of the turbinado. I got rid of the non-fat milk, and I was getting sweetened strawberries. Now I've even reduced that a little bit. Can I get 1 scoop of sweetened strawberries and 1 scoop of non-sweetened? They're like, no problem. So it's a big scoop of banana, like a whole banana. It's a scoop of sweetened strawberries and non-sweetened strawberries. And then it's a couple of big old scoops of that protein powder, getting like 45 grams of protein. I'm trying to get about 150 grams of protein, my weight. I'm trying to match my weight in grams of protein, 150, 155 grams a day of protein. And then a little creatine in there as well to help muscle growth. I've been working out a little bit, so I need the protein. The creatine's good. So I get that vanilla Gladiator, 20 ounce, just the small one, 45 grams of protein, couple of little scoops of creatine. And then it just, because I got 1 strawberry scoop sweet, it's still really tasty and fantastic. I mean, I'll tell you this, I am a picky eater. Just how it is. You've heard me over the years talking about food and how I eat, and I admit it. I'm a picky eater. There's no doubt about it. So if this thing was like chalky or tasted like protein powder or whatever you think that would taste like, or just was like nasty or something, you think I'd drink it? Oh, I gotta get this down. It's the opposite. I look forward to it. It's a treat. It tastes great. And I'm getting the protein, the creatine, all the stuff I want in this wonderful treat, this sweet, wonderful smoothie. And Jay's staff, I walk in, hey, Corey, boom, they're already mixing it. I don't even have to say anymore. 20-ounce vanilla gladiator add the the creatine, a muscle builder, they call it. I just walk in. They're already blending. 35 seconds on the blender, pouring it in that cup. And they're so great over there. They have these little mini shot cups. They're like about the size of a shot glass, but made out of plastic. And if they have an overrun where it's a little more than fills the 20-ounce cup or whatever size you get, 32 or even the big bad boy, they'll give you that extra in the little shot glass, which is just cool. They're very nice. So yeah, if you like Smoothie King, you want to take it up a level, go check out Jay and his dad, who have owned Smoothie King franchises for years, decades. 2 locations. The one I go to, Jefferson Highway, right across the street from Oshner. You Old Metairie folks, Smoothie King, Old Metairie, Old Jefferson, right by the Rouses, Airline Highway at LaBar, Airline Highway essentially at Causeway, right in that Rouses shopping center. That's another one of Jay and his dad's Smoothie Kings. So go check them out. Check out the difference. Get it as a snack, trying to gain weight, trying to lose weight, meal replacement. Jay and his dad and those 2 Smoothie Kings will take care of you. Jefferson Highway across from Oshner. That's my Smoothie King. Tell them when you go in. They'll say, yeah, Corey's here once a day, sometimes twice a day. And you Old Metairie folks, Old Jefferson, Airline at LaBar by the Rouses, Airline at Causeway. Another one of Jay and his dad's Smoothie Kings. No, it's just, I really am into it. And Jay is such a nice guy over there. They take care of me just like they take care of you. I walk in there, customers in front of me. I don't cut in line. I see them taking care of those customers, know them by name, the regulars. Good employees. Go check it out. Smoothie King, Jefferson Highway across from Oshner. Airline at LaBar, Airline at Causeway. Jay and his dad, Smoothie King. Now, it makes a difference when they've been franchisees for a few decades. It's what they do. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way on a wide open Wednesday. Rouse's Markets phone lines are open if you'd like to participate. 766-9480. 766-9480. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Ed Michel, Inspector General, City of New Orleans, he was with us for a good 35 minutes, breaking down a lot of stuff. You want to check that out. I love Ed Michel. I love Raphael Goyeneche. These are the good guys, the watchdogs for the city. That's why I like those media guys that are watchdogs, like Travers Mackle, David Hammer, Cassie Sherm, all them that just do a great job exposing waste, fraud, abuse, just like the OIG. Speaking of that, boy, we're losing a good one. Gordon Russell going to the Boston Globe. That's devastating. Gordon Russell has done decades of work in New Orleans exposing corruption, fraud, and abuse. No, we're going to miss him big time. Big time. David Hammer and all these other cats are going to have to pick up the slack. They do a great job. I'm not dogging David Hammer. Love him. Travers Mackle, Cassie Sherm, all the investigative folks. Lee Zurich, of course. But Gordon Russell, he was way up there near the top. Legit journalist doing great stuff for the city. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Governor Jeff Landry wants any LSU football scholarship player to lose that scholarship if he doesn't stand for the national anthem. It almost sounds like LSU's out there for the national anthem and some players are kneeling in protest. That's what it sounds like. Here's the real deal. This is strictly another crock of you-know-what from Governor Jeff Landry appeasing his base. His base eats this up. It's a national anthem. It's America. Those players should be standing. Kim Mulkey's basketball team, this is where it started. They're in the locker room during the national anthem. Brian Kelly's football team in the locker room for the national anthem. Now, you LSU fans are like, well, let's change it and get them out there for the national anthem. Brian Kelly said in 33 years of coaching, he could count on one hand how many times his team has been out there for the national anthem. LSU says, we're not going to change our pregame routine. And here's the kicker. When LSU played Army last year, Army wasn't out on the field for the national anthem either. None of these teams are. No, this is just nonsense. Baloney. It's just something to rev up the governor's base. And they eat it up, even though it's total BS. Corey Johnson with you.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com. Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LaBarre by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
I'm divorced, Corporal, so my advice is worthless for married people. But when I got divorced, a buddy of mine said, man, you're going to make about 10,000 decisions in your marriage. But outside of like the mortgage or like maybe a car you're buying, you don't really need to have any input. You can just let the wife, yes. You just tell her yes. Honey, we're going to paint the house blue, right? No, I wanted it green. Green it is. I mean, what, you going to fight over that? What do you care? I used to. That's why I'm divorced.
He's the boss.
Yeah, exactly. She is the boss. Why would you want her not to be the boss? Why would you give a crap if the house is blue or green?
As long as it has everything.
Has a paint on it. She wants green, you go with green,
Yeah.
you know? Here's another one that my friends laugh at. I mean, some of my male friends, I mean, they might as well cut a hole in a burlap sack and wear that as their clothing. They dress like crap. And there's no woman that looks at them and goes, wow, great outfit. Whenever I'm dating someone or was married, yeah, you can pick out the shoes. And I'm not talking about like my outfit for the night. I mean, like if we go to a store, I'm going to pick out, I like the 2 cinder blocks that you tie to your feet. Aren't those nice shoes? You know,
I
go with what the women, they have good taste. We don't. We're dumb men.
Yep. I have a great story about that one. My wife, when I was friggin' stationed in Pensacola doing some training, went to the mall with my wife. And she's like, okay, you wear the same thing all the time. You're getting new clothes. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And she picks 90% of my outfits.
Why would you pick them? You're going to pick stupid stuff.
And she's like, okay, I want you to pick something for yourself. I'm like, okay. And I found like a little nice short
She's like, that's
sleeve.
terrible.
It was a short sleeve button up with like tiny little Pac-Man ghosts on it. And she said, of course you would pick that.
Exactly. Exactly. No, my neighbor across the street, husband and wife, they have like the driveway with, you know, where the tires go on each side and it's got the grass stripped down the middle. She gets out there and rips up all the grass and over a few days makes it really nice, like rocks and little cactuses and different plants that can handle shade, like when the car's parked over it. But it just looked a lot better than the strip of grass. And then my neighbor, like 2 doors down, corporally builds like this shed with those like big panels. And he had some leftover panels, and he makes like essentially what would be like what it looks like is a trough for like a horse to go drink out of. They're jacked up about a foot in the air, and then he made these like looks like a trough and he put them in his front yard and put plants in them. They look terrible. It's awful. And I just looked at my neighbor and I said, you see what happens when we do stuff, when men come up with ideas? Hey, I had some extra paneling from my shed. Let me use it. Oh no, throw it away. It's extra paneling. The shed's complete. You don't need to utilize the material because, you know, it exists. It's like they're like 100 panels to build the building, and the guy bought like 102. So instead of, you know, throwing them out or, you know, I got to use them. So he makes these troughs and puts them in the front yard, and it just looks like crap. And I just looked at the guy, his wife's right there, and I go, you see, man, when a woman does something, it looks like this. And we're looking at the little strip, and it's beautiful. I go, when a man does something, it looks like that. I go, he should clear them out and have horses come drink out of that. You know, just we don't have, you know, the taste. And a buddy of mine bought a house in Florida. He's like, you know, he's got some dinero, obviously, down by the beach, like 3 blocks off the beach, hundreds of thousands of dollars. He has to, you know, furnish it. He's going to Airbnb the thing when he's not enjoying it himself. I told him, I said, your girlfriend's down there with you? He's like, nope. I'm like, dude, don't go buy anything until your girlfriend's down there. You can go buy the TV. You can go buy the 70-inch TV. That might be the only thing where she'd be like, a 40-inch is big enough. You know, that's not her big. Go get the 70-inch TV. I said, outside of that, all the furniture, all the furnishings, all the stuff you're going to hang on walls, everything you get, let her pick it out because we suck at that. Now, some men are good at that. but it's a very, rare few. So yeah, my buddy's like, you're right. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm right. You don't need to be picking out stuff, dude. You'll have a beach house that'll end up having mahogany, wood paneling, and dark furniture, and it's a beach house. She'll go in there and it'll be all white and bright and beachy, Men aren't the sharpest tools in the shed on some things. You have to relent and let the woman take over because she's better at it. Hey, Katie's in Mid-City. Why aren't you there right now? What a great way to wind down your Wednesday. Go plop down at the bar, get a cocktail, fade on over to a table, and enjoy some great New Orleans specialties. Old school. It's the quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant, as New Orleans as it gets. Katie's in Mid-City, Iberville, corner Tallahassee. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Corey Johnson with you. The mayor, the city, saying the feds will pay 50% of that Sewerage and Water Board power plant shortfall. About $29 million more dollars needed. If the city and state can come up with $14.5 million, the feds will come up with $14.5 million. And we get the full-blown power plant, not the lesser version. The fact that we're going with the lesser version right now is nauseating. I mean, Goss and Corbin must just be like, my God, I got to get a new gig. New Orleans is so broken, so dysfunctional. It's painful. Some of Mid-City without water, just like New Orleans East. That boil water advisory solved earlier this morning for the East. A water main rupturing in the East. Well, now a water main ruptures in Mid-City. Some of Mid-City without water. Plaquemine Parish, a little salt water from the Gulf coming up the river. They have low water pressure in Plaquemine. City Park agrees to let Grodat stay put. The Grodat farm, which helps inner city kids, this urban farm at City Park, they're growing their own stuff, teaching kids. It's a great lesson. Teaching kids, it's patience. You're planting something, you're nurturing it, you're growing it. It pops out of the ground. Not ready yet. Got to wait till the harvest, and then you get to eat it and enjoy it. It's just a great lesson for kids. Grodat farm staying put. And I'm happy about that. But the bigger story, clearly, and it's amazing. The media they're so infatuated with Grodat Farms. I don't know, because it's, urban thing. It's for black inner city kids primarily. I don't know why it gets all the emphasis. But the big thing is the $30 million plus golf course that's 7 years old that they were going to destroy in this 20-year, $200 million master plan. I was trying to get the old CEO of City Park on the program, but by the time they were ready to move, she left for Houston. She did not want to have anything to do with me on this program because I was going to rip the 20-year, $200 million plan, which I'm for. I love that City Park has been rebuilt from Katrina in just 20 years. A first-class city would have a 20-year, $200 million plan. That's soon after it was redone after Katrina because you're keeping it updated and you're keeping it first class. I love the idea. But destroying the $30 million golf course is absolute insanity. And no offense to Grodat Farms. They could have dug up, 5-6 feet of the dirt they've nurtured over a decade to make it right. I hear them. You can't just plant anywhere. They've nurtured that soil. They could have dug all that up and moved it to another part of the park. It would have been, costly but it would have kept the farm going. Or they could have just moved to another part of the park and restarted that process. They like where they are. They like what they're doing. But they easily could have been moved. It's not some multi-million-dollar facility. The golf course is $30 million. Now, you people that don't give a crap about golf, I'll change it. City Park has a brand new 7-year-old $30 million building. Brand new, 7 years old. It's fully occupied. It's a profit maker. It generates money for the building. It pays for the building and all the staff, and it pays for a bunch of other things at City Park. The 20-year master plan puts a road right through the middle of the building. They're going to have to destroy the building people would be like, are you insane? Put the road somewhere else, eliminate the road. The building's 7 years old. It cost $30 million. We're not destroying this profit maker. That's the golf course. 7 years old, $30 million bucks. That's the big mover and shaker. That was the big problem with the 20-year, $200 million plan. But locally, media-wise, it never even got mentioned. I'm like the only person mentioning it. That's where the old CEO in City Park screwed up. They released their plan. They released their map of the plan. And I scrutinized that map, and I'm like, my God, this island they want to build, they're like 4 or 5 holes on the front side of the golf course on that island. Like 4 holes. Wow, the road they want to build, that's going to knock out at least 3, if not 4 holes on the back 9. Then once I bring this up and make that known publicly, the CEO at City Park and her, people on her side are like, is that Corey Johnson guy again, stirring the pot, exposing our flawed plan to the public. So then they're like, we're going to replace those 9 holes on the old South Course across Fillmore. So you folks that like playing the inexpensive South Course, like $19 or something, we're going to destroy that and put 9 new holes that'll make up for the ones we're destroying on the $30 million South Course. Here's the problem. An 18-hole golf course is like a puzzle. The pieces all line up. You can't just pop puzzle pieces out and replace them somewhere else. The puzzle won't work. So exposing all of this, thank goodness. I mean, the Grodad Farms should be thanking me. Okay, Grodad Farms wasn't the main mover. The $30 million golf course being destroyed was the main mover. I'm 110% for Grodad Farms. I'm not against them, but that was the minor thing, and it still gets the major news story, and the golf course is rarely, if at all, mentioned. But that's the big part of it. The 20-year, $200 million master plan would have destroyed a 7-year-old, $30+ million championship golf course. And here's the kicker that put it over the top, where you can give me credit if you'd like for getting that plan nixed. They're going to have to reevaluate it. This really made it stick. Hey, guys, are y'all ready to come up with an extra $10 million? Because the $30+ million golf course, about 1/3 of it, like $10 million plus, came from the 4Kids Foundation, the PGA Tour, private donations. Zurich put up $1 million+ bucks for that golf course. You ready to pay them back? Because they didn't put up all this money thinking the golf course would be there for 7 or 10 years and then destroyed. They put up all this money thinking, A, the golf course will be there indefinitely, and B, maybe the PGA Tour stop moves from the TPC in West Wego to the championship golf course at City Park. That's the original plan. So if you don't have $10+ million to pay back all these people, you can't destroy the golf course. And they're like, my God, we don't have $10 million to pay back all these people. What are we thinking destroying this golf course? The breaking story, City Park agrees to let Grodad Farms stay put, new contract. But the real story is the $30 million 7-year-old golf course is the reason that master plan went bye-bye. And the Grodad folks should thank me and for exposing that, because that's what moved the needle, not Grodad. But the media is infatuated with Grodad. And that's fine. I'm pro-Grodad. That farm for the inner city kids in City Park, I think it's a great thing. But the golf course is the big thing. And it's not because I play golf. I use the building analogy. 7-year-old, $30 million building. You're not going to destroy that. So just really short-sighted. And no, that's what's good about me and people like me. We expose stuff like that. We, hold people accountable, take people, what is it? Take them to task or whatever. We not going to let stuff slide. That is wrong. And that was wrong. But the Grodad is the small part. But it got all the attention. And I say, thank you, Grodad, too. that's going to gain all the attention and keep the golf course and keep Grodad, more power to him. And I'm for the 20-year, $200 million plan. Let's just come up with a better one. Wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Are you beelining across the causeway right now, checking out the show? Why don't you call Trey Yen right now and get a to-go order? You pull right up in front. They walk it right out to your car. Curbside delivery. I got a recommendation for you, especially if you got like a family of 4 or more. Get the honey pecan shrimp entree as an appetizer. Plump, local, fresh shrimp with this honey glaze and these pecans that are just crispy and fantastic. The pecans with the shrimp with that glaze are absolutely incredible. It's a great entree, but boy, I like just getting a little taste of it as an appetizer. And then for an entree, maybe the whole speckled trout or the whole flounder, deboned, flash fried, head and tail intact. You get both fillets. Fantastic. And then they ladle their signature tong cho sauce on top that fish. So good. Trey Yen in Mandeville. To-go orders or go dine in. You North Shore folks know where it's at, right at the foot of the causeway. South Shore folks, 25 short minutes, not 30 minutes, not 40 minutes, 25 short minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center to the parking lot at Trey Yen in Mandeville. It is a wide open Wednesday edition of the program. Governor Jeff Landry wants any LSU football scholarship player to lose that scholarship if they don't stand for the national anthem. His base eats that up. That's right. It's America. You better stand for the national anthem. What, these kids kneeling in protest at LSU? I'm not going to go to LSU games anymore. Not at all the case. Brian Kelly says he's been, as a coach, 33 years in coaching. He could count on one hand when he and his team were out on the field for the national anthem. 33 years of coaching. Kim Mulkey is what started it. Postseason, you know, the NCAA tournament. Jeff Landry's like, why isn't the team out there for the national anthem? Kim Mulkey's like, we're not even thinking about that. We're thinking about the opponent, and we're in the locker room at that time, preparing for the game, just like LSU football. LSU played Army last year at Tiger Stadium. You remember they did that great thing and camouflaged the end zone? Just like a, here you go, Army, this is for you. Just a beautiful gesture. It was great. Army wasn't on the field for the national anthem. Army. Armed Services School. They weren't on the field for the national anthem. So Jeff Landry's just wrong on this. It's an impulsive thing he says, but he doesn't care because he knows it appeases his base. They love it. They eat it up. They eat it up. Even though it's a pile of you know what? Can I get seconds of that poop? I want to eat more of this nonsense, this BS. Give me more poop. They gobble it down. They shovel it in their mouth with 2 spoons, 2 hands. Can't wait to swallow it up. But the truth is, and LSU even says, we're not changing our pregame routine. Kelly and LSU say they will not change their pregame routine. Kim Mulkey, same thing. Not changing the pregame routine. And they shouldn't. Army doesn't change their pregame routine, and they're not out for the national anthem. And anyone who says, well, they got to make a change where the teams are out there for the national anthem, it's kickoff by that time. There's no time to do it. It's for the fans. I wonder if there's any sports teams anywhere in America that don't play the national anthem before a game. That has to exist. It's not a rule. Baseball started it. Major League Baseball, I think it was after maybe World War I or during World War I or right before World War II. Just like, hey, man, we're America. Let's a little national pride. And it caught on. I'm not against the national anthem. I'm an American. Who would be against the national anthem? But this is just political nonsense. This is just Jeff Landry appeasing his base. This is ready, fire, aim. This is ready, fire aim at its best. This is the governor of the state. You think he would have done a little, hey, let me talk to Brian Kelly. Let me talk to Kim Mulkey before I spout off. But it's sort of like the 10 Commandments thing. It ain't going to happen. The lawsuits are going to win, and it won't be on all classroom walls. But Jeff Landry still wins because he was fighting for the 10 Commandments to be on the classroom walls. And the 1 out of a million hits and it's on the classroom walls, he wins. He wins if he wins, which he's not gonna. And he wins when he loses, and he's gonna lose. This won't stick. This won't stick. But his base loves it. He's God that stood for the 10 Commandments. Okay, what if it were the 7 tenets of Buddhism? And those are great positive things, just like the 10 Commandments. Would that have caught on? We're not a Buddhist city or state. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. We're not a 10 Commandments state either. The 10 Commandments are my commandments. I'm a Catholic. I'm Christian. That's what I believe in, especially like 5 through 10. 1 through 4 is a little obnoxious, I think, on the 10 Commandments. What are the first 4 commandments, Corporal? Why don't you pull those up for us? My God, my Jesus, he doesn't need the first 4 at all. It sort of seems like it's showing insecurity or, like Jesus is worried. Jesus is the Almighty. He's not worried about it. Aren't the first 4 all about God and don't false prophet, false God, all that? What's number 1?
You shall worship no God before me.
You think Jesus needs to say that?
Yeah, you shall don't take the Lord's name in vain.
He doesn't care.
Keep the holy Sabbath day. And then I think it's after that it's honor your father and mother is 4.
Oh, well, that's fine. So honor your mother. And,
3.
Yeah, the first 3. They're like, oh, Jesus is real insecure and nervous and worried. Not my Jesus. So yeah, I guess 4 through 10 I'm into. And I don't pray for any other God or any of that. So it automatically works for me. I don't need 1 through 3. I'm already following 1 through 3 naturally, organically.
It's kind of part of like being Christian is like you're
exactly. Jesus is the guy. There isn't another God. Yeah, like Jesus and Freddie.
On Sundays it's all Jesus, but Tuesdays that's Mike's.
That's Mike the God. He's really cool, man. I got the little statue at home. I don't know any Christian or Catholic or that has a Mike God doll on Tuesdays, and Jesus is only 6 days a week. So I mean, it's sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy, like I said. But anyway, no, the 10 Commandments are my thing, but no, they shouldn't be on classroom walls. That's silly. It's ridiculous. Pointless. But the base loves it. The Christians in Louisiana, what's wrong with the 10 Commandments? It's a positive thing. It's historic. All this nonsense. All this fake nonsense. But the base loves it. And it's just like the governor wants LSU football scholarship players to stand for the national anthem. If they don't, they could risk losing their scholarship. The teams in the locker room during the national anthem. Army was in the locker room during the national anthem. Brian Kelly says in 33 years of coaching, he can count on one hand how many times he and his team have been out on the field for the national anthem. It's just a non-story. But like the 10 Commandments, Jeff Landry can't lose. He wants kids to stand for the national anthem. He's a pro-America. We got problems in America. People are burning the flag. It's LSU football, for crying out loud, people. Keep your shirt on, ladies. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. Every day this program's brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. The big store, Lamarck Ford, 45 years. Ronnie Lamarck taking care of you. If you're thinking of getting a Ford vehicle, why would you even think of going anywhere else? Folks come from not only Metro New Orleans, but around the region to the big store. I-10 at Williams in Kennebra, right on the corner, right on the price. Every day this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner. And now, Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you. or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com. Dave Miet Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miet, INSagency.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Come experience the best smoothies in the metro area at Smoothie King. Jay and his father have been Smoothie King franchisees for decades. On Jefferson Highway, across from Oxnard, on Airline Highway at LeBar by Causeway. Smoothie King.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family owned and operated. Leidenheimer French Bread.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Yeah, you're right. Some meters. I got to follow up with George Porter. I saw him about a week ago. Asked him if he would come on the program. He said yes. So, going to get the meter man himself, bass player extraordinaire, George Porter, on the program soon. George Porter's like 76 years old. He's been going at it since he was 16. 60 plus years. And has played bass guitar for like the Rolling Stones, Bob Dylan. He's one of the greatest bass players in the history of the instrument. I've told you this story. I walk by. He lives in my neighborhood. I'll be walking Tolly. George Porter will be outside. I'm like, hey, man. He goes, what's up? I go, not much. I walk by, and then George will go in the house. I don't say it where he can hear it. And I'll go, hey, Tolly. I say it out loud. My neighbors think I'm crazy, probably. Talking out loud to Tolly. Hey, Tolly, how often do you get to walk by a human being that is 8 billion people on the planet, 8 billion with a B. How often do you get to walk by a human being that is one of the greatest at what they do in the world, in the history of the world? It's like an astronaut or an F-16 fighter pilot or something, you know, just a rarity. And, oh boy, the corporal's looking at me like, F-16, dude. You mean F-35? Where are we, F-35s now? Is that the newest and latest and greatest? That stealth fighter,
Yeah,
and
I
that
think
the
that's
replacement?
stealth fighter. That's not, hey, we don't have the fancy stuff.
Now, the F-16, is that just one generation old or two now old?
I think there are 2 generations.
There was a replacement for the F-16, and now the replacement for that is this F-35, right?
Yeah, I'm rotor wing, but I believe that's right.
That F-35 is badass.
Oh my
that
God.
thing. What is it called? Viper or?
Is it Vengeance? Is it?
Boy, something. Not Viper.
It has some kind of ridiculous.
You know, it's a good name.
It's a Lightning Mark II, I think, is what.
The F-35.
I want to say it is.
I thought it had a one name like Viper or.
No. Vipers were some of the helicopters we had were Vipers.
I'm a Jolly Green Giant guy myself. Big old ramp that flaps out the back. You can put a Jeep in that thing. You can run a bunch of troops out of that thing. It's got the big, fuel rod sticking out the front where it can latch onto a big old, like C-130 fuel plane.
Just tactically deliver death anywhere in the world.
Yeah, and never have to land to fuel up. That's what's crazy. Anyway, what's the nickname of the F-35? Or is it even the F-35? Is it the 35 parts, right? But is it an F-35?
Yeah, it's an F-35.
Yeah, it doesn't have a nickname?
It's the Lightning.
Oh, it's called the Lightning.
It's the Lightning.
Gotcha. Stealthy. No, unlike the F-16, which is no stealth at all.
Souped up with all kinds of just some of the most expensive tech you could put on a freaking plane.
Trying to think what the Black Hawk was called. The X-71, is that what it is? You want to see something crazy? Pull X-71 Black Hawk, I think is what it's called. Pull that up, Corporal. You see that big stealthy thing with the big engines?
You're thinking the X-71 Blackbird.
Blackbird.
Yeah.
You see that plane?
The SR-71.
SR-71
That
Blackbird.
thing was crazy.
You see that thing?
Oh, yeah.
Now, how doesn't that thing look like? If I ask you, when do you think that thing was built? Would you say like 2010?
Yeah, looking at it,
2010?
I know when it was built.
It was built when I was born.
Yeah.
It was built in the 60s.
You would never.
It's still the fastest, most badass plane, but they finally decommissioned them because they were
so expensive to maintain and the like.
66.
Isn't that incredible? That's from Skunk Works. That's my cousin Johnson, right?
I'm sorry. 64 was the first flight.
Yep. The plane would spill fuel all over the runway when it was sitting there because once it got going to Mach 3, the metal would expand and close the gap and the fuel wouldn't leak out. But it literally they'd have to launch it, hook up with the fuel plane to refuel it, and then it would go Mach 3 for a long time. Like Mach 3, which is what? How fast is Mach? Isn't it Mach 3?
Yeah, Mach 3, 3 times the speed of sound.
Yeah, so like 850 miles an hour times 3. It's like 2,700 miles an hour. Something like that. Something like that. Anyway, that stealthy plane is just badass. Who was the Johnson guy at Skunk Works? Curtis Johnson, I think. The Skunk Works. I mean, what a great name, huh? Skunk Works. Where they built all these badass planes. I think the guy's Curtis Johnson or something Johnson, huh? Anyway, yeah, the SR-71 Blackbird. Holy smokes. What a badass plane that was. Anyway, Corey Johnson babbling on a wide open Wednesday. Let's see. I'm going to Google it, Corporal. I think it's Johnson and Skunk Works. Kelly Johnson. Yeah, it starts with a K. KJ, just like me. 5 letters. I should know that.
Yeah, Clarence Kelly Johnson.
That guy was a badass.
Oh, my God.
The Skunk Works was just incredible. The stuff they pulled out of that.
Oh, my God.
That's where the stealth fighters today still come out of that.
It is incredible. Like when you look at how aviation is now and how it was then, it was still so like, they were so ahead of the game.
Yep. There was Lockheed, the Skunk Works.
Lockheed, Martin, and
I mean, how badass is that Blackbird over the mountains? That photo, is that the coolest thing in the world?
If that doesn't make you want to freaking and fly, I don't know what.
And love America and just be like, what we can do. I mean, they're doing that. They're putting man on the moon. What a decade, man.
That was, you didn't need recruiting commercials like that was the recruiting commercial. Seeing that stuff like this was out there and there's a job where you can go and do that, that's your recruiting commercial.
No doubt. Let's see. They built 32 of them. Mach 3.2. Now I think Mach 1's like 800 miles an hour. Let's see what it is. Mach speed is, come on, just give me the number. Wasting radio time. Let's see.
300.
How fast is Mach 1? 761. I said 800 something. So Mach 3.2, let's see. 7.1 times 3.2, about 2,300 miles an hour.
Insane.
2,300 miles an hour.
Insane to think
on Earth.
Yeah.
Like the Black Hawk replacement. The Black Hawk does like under 200 miles an hour. What's the replacement for the Black Hawk? I forget the name of that helicopter. That one does like 450 miles an hour. So like more than double the speed of the Black Hawk. Does like 400 and something miles an hour. This plane's doing 2,300 miles an hour. 2,000 more miles per hour than that Black Hawk replacement helicopter. And this is in the 60s. I know it's a plane jet to a helicopter, but still, it's just to give you an idea of the speed difference. What's that, Corporal? We've eliminated the entire audience from the program with this babble, huh? Wow. Interesting. I guess I'm going to end it with Lebanon's Cafe because this guy right here, he loves Lebanon's Cafe. I picked some up for lunch today. Blue Boy, you got a little hashwi from inside that fried kibbe. Yummy. Like a Lebanese meat pie. You got some chicken shawarma. Yep. Totally even eats tabbouleh. The salad. Yay. That's Blue Boy barking, not Tolly. Blue Boy loves Lebanon's too. Lebanon's Cafe open on 9:30, Carrollton at Jeanette. Corey Johnson with you. See you tomorrow for more military talk. SR 71 and more.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.